I'm Andrew Joseph Keith. I'm an online sculpting instructor, and in this video I'm going to show you how to make wire armatures or wire people for figure sculpting using only materials that I got from the Dollar Tree. So for this wire armature, all you'll need is some aluminum wire. This is craft wire, a ruler, and a pair of pliers with wire cutters. Like I said, I was able to find all of these at Dollar Tree, but sometimes they cycle through items, so you might not be able to find the wire, or sometimes you can't find the pliers at Dollar Tree, but they're pretty accessible items. Usually you can find some craft wire at Walmart or Hobby Lobby. All right, let's figure out what color we're going to do it. Let's do it gold. So these wire armatures are great for polymer clay sculpting if you're doing something in polymer clay that you're going to bake in your oven, but you can also use them with other types of clay as well. I'm going to be using the Robert Beverly Hale cranial unit measuring system. It's my favorite as a sculptor. If you're interested in downloading a free PDF, you can go down in the link in the description, and there's a link to join my email list and then get a PDF that has all of these measurements laid out for you. Okay, we're going to be starting at the top of the head. We're going to come down 2 cranial units to the pit of the neck. We're going to make a sharp 90-degree angle bend over to the shoulder. We're going to come over 1 unit, or a little bit less than 1 unit is what I prefer for the shoulder. There's the shoulder right there. We're going to come down 2 units from the shoulder to the elbow, make a slight bend forward for the elbow. So that's the arm kind of bending forward. Then we're going to come another 2 units, and that will get us to the end of the palm of the hand, right where the knuckles begin. So make a little loop, double check, make sure that it starts, that it's 2 units from the elbow to where the knuckles begin. And so this is what it should look like at this point. We've got the neck down to the shoulder, over to the palm of the hand. Now what we're going to do is we're going to grab that loop with one hand. With the other hand, we're going to feed the aluminum wire. And we're going to come over the wire and twist around that first measurement. We're not twisting the wires together. We're wrapping the wire around those first measurements. We're going to go back up to the pit of the neck. Once we're at the pit of the neck, we're going to wrap it tightly and then come down the spine. The spine is going to be 3.5 cranial units, so 3.5 inches is what I'm measuring. Come over to 1 leg. The distance from the spine to the greater trochanter is 1 unit, but I like to go a little bit under that because remember we'll be adding clay to this, so make sure you're inside 1 unit, closer to 1/2 of a unit. Let's go a little bit over 1/2 inch. We can always add clay to thicken the hips. Then from the greater trochanter to the knee is 3 units, so I'm going to measure 3 inches. Make a bend for the knee. Going to come from the knee to the bottom of the foot is 3 inches again. So I'm going to come 3 inches down. And then I'm going to bend it backwards for the heel first. I like to do the foot this way. So I make a little bend for the heel. That's going to be about 1/3 of a unit. And then the front of the foot is usually about 1 unit. So there is the foot right there. So that's what the foot is looking like. Just a little bit bend backwards and then a loop for the front of the foot. Now we're going to take this and wrap the wire tightly around the ankle. And then just like we did with the arm, we're going to wrap it all the way back up to the bottom of the spine. Going to wrap it tightly and then come over for the other leg. A little bit over 1/2 a unit, 90-degree bend down for that missing leg. 3 units to the knee. Bend backwards at the knee, like the knee's a little bit bent. 3 more units to the bottom of the foot. Bend backwards. Grab that foot with the pliers. So it should be about 1/3 of a unit for the back of the foot, and then 1 unit for the front. And then we're going to wrap that wire back up the leg by holding that foot and then twisting the whole armature around, feeding the wire with our thumb and forefinger of the other hand. Sometimes I like to take this leg and put it a little bit out from the body. And then we're going to wrap it up the spine. Looks like we might be running out of wire. And then we're going to come and finish up that missing arm. So come over 1 unit for the shoulder, down 2 units for the elbow, two more units to the loop of the palm, we're going to wrap that back around and up towards the shoulder. It looks like that one will end right about there. If the wire was a little bit longer, I'd continue wrapping it up to the head to give it a little bit more strength. But once we add clay to this armature, it should be strong enough. Something you can do for the head is just make a little bit of a loop in the armature, and that will give the clay something to grab onto. Then you can also tell a little bit better the direction of the head with the wire armature. Now I'm just going to give a little bit of a curve to the spine and pose the armature. There are a couple adjustments that you can make to this armature. You can push the hips up. Let's say that they have a shorter torso. You're sculpting somebody with a shorter torso, so you can push the hips up just like that. You can do the opposite and pull them down for somebody that maybe has a longer torso compared to the legs. Same thing with the shoulders. If they have more narrow shoulders, you can do that. Then let's see if we can balance this. Let's get a contrapposto pose. So the hips going this way. Shoulders this way. If you like this video, you might like my Figure Sculpting Fundamentals course that I have over at Proco.com. In that course, I show you everything that I wish I knew when I started sculpting people. There are many lessons that go over wire armatures, including ways to modify your wire armature to do things like adding hands, adding wings, making an adjustable rib cage, and things like that. If you enjoyed this video, you might also like this video that shows you my process for turning about $50 worth of materials into a $1,000 sculpture commission of a farmer and some chickens.